Hello, Mzansi. It's Saturday afternoon on SABC One, meaning it's time for Game On, where, of course, we give you previews and some of the best action from the local football scene, including out in England, and also we'll be looking into what's been happening at the Africa Cup of Nations. So the special guests we'll be bringing your way today will be a son of the soil in Jeff Katala, later on to discuss, of course, the Africa Cup of Nations and all the drama in Cote d'Ivoire. We'll also have a, legend in Cherise Kosana, followed up by another in Shane Mcgregor, who helps us start our focus on the Premier League out in England. Shane, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure being in your company as always. And, you got it right with some of your predictions last week. Liverpool bouncing back against Burnley, a 3-1 result following their loss. Important for them to bounce back.
Very important for them to get back. They obviously needed that result. But it just shows you, the character of the players. With Klopp announced he's going to be gone at the end of the season. I think the players want to do it for him for the season, and try and win the league. Obviously, they will want to try and win the league. But I think they'll put that little bit of extra effort in to say goodbye to Klopp.
Manchester City with a 2-0 win over Everton, which is another important result, both at the top and at the bottom of the table. But Kevin De Bruyne continues since his return to be a standout figure out at City.
Kevin De Bruyne is different class. I mean, he must be one of the best players in the world at the moment. Just what he brings to the team, he's so good on the ball. He brings players in, he attracts attention and then passes the ball. But his vision is different class. What a player to have in your team. And then you've got so many others in that side, so they gain well at the moment, and it's going to be very difficult for them to be beaten at this stage.
It is keeping things interesting right at the top, but we have to talk about the bottom as well. Interesting result between Sheffield and Luton. Luton at home, of course, to Sheffield United. United walking away with a 3-1 win there. Good result for Sheffield.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, we always talk about the 6-pointers. That was a definite 6-pointer for Sheffield. Maybe this will give them a little bit of momentum they need to go forward and carry on. But, Luton were on a roll, and then they go let themselves down. Big loss. That's going to bring them back into that little quagmire at the bottom. Very difficult to see who's going to go down there. I still think Luton are in trouble. Sheffield have got to wake up, even though they did get that victory. Got to start getting more victories. But it's going to be all to play for. Could go down to the wire at the end of the season.
Lastly, one can't ignore Arsenal-West Ham. It's a derby, home game for West Ham. Arsenal, of course, looking to build on the impressive result against Liverpool. But no one could have seen the 6-0 scoreline in favour of Arsenal away from home.
Yeah, I thought it was a tennis match, 6-love, but Arsenal have been different class. If you look at the way they've been playing, Arteta seems to have just found a new lease of life, and he seemed to have turned things around. They went through that bad patch, and since the break, they've been different Arsenal altogether. So I think, they're going to push all the way. As I said earlier in the three top ones are going to be there for the season. I'm not too sure who's going to end up top and who's going to end up second and third, but those are going to be your three finishers up there, and the rest will be playing catch-up football. But Arsenal, I would hate to be playing against Arsenal.
In looking ahead at this weekend's action, of course, one can't ignore Liverpool. They've got a chance to stress their lead right at the top following a nice bounce back from the result where they lost against Arsenal. They faced Brentford away from home, with Brentford also in need of points.
Yeah, Brentford have gone through a very bad patch, so it's ideal time for Liverpool to go play them. They can't seem to buy a victory at the moment. I'm not too sure what's going on. Tony is back, but they haven't been firing. This is a difficult one, I know Man City beat them a short while ago, but for Liverpool to go there, it's going to be difficult. I think Liverpool will get the result. I do think that. And then they'll be 5 points clear because they play earlier in the week, so it puts pressure on the Arsenal and the Man Cities of this world.
Two tough games in a row for Burnley. They had Liverpool last. They've got Arsenal next, and that's later on today. Arsenal away from home. Burnley looking, running the risk of losing 2 in a row here.
Well, they're going to lose 2 in a row. The way Arsenal are playing at the moment, you can't look past Arsenal.
Sure.
They're scoring goals freely. They're playing as a unit. Arteta, as I said to you, I'm not too sure what's happened there, but he seems to be getting his tactics all correct. I feel sorry for Burnley. I know they like playing the ball, keeping the ball, but they're going to be under pressure by Arsenal. I can't see anything but Arsenal victory.
It's been an impressive run for City of late at home, which is quite important. But the opponent is one where you and I have discussed and have said they're unpredictable. You never know what Chelsea side could show up. If the right Chelsea side shows up here, could be a little bit of a pothole in the road here for City.
That's correct. Chelsea are one of those teams that on their day are too good. But if you look at the back, they are bad at the back in Chelsea. And I think this is where Man City are so good, is they're putting the pressure on. You've got Haaland, you've got Foden, you've got De Bruyne. What more can I say? De Silva. I can't see anything but a big victory here for Man City. I watched them midweek when they played a Champions League game, and they went to a bogey side, Copenhagen, and they actually outplayed them. So for me, I can't see anything but a victory here for Man City. So by the end of the weekend, again, we're going to be the same thing, 2 points separating, but they still got their game in hand.
Now, Manchester United, another side that's worth talking about. Ups and downs. There's been a lot of ups in recent times. Away from home to Luton Town.
This is a team I never get right, Man United.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Hard to predict,
It's very hard to predict. They're going to go to Luton. Luton got to bounce back, and Luton are now got to start worrying about their position. Man United, as I say, can't predict. They're very unpredictable. They're very not in the greatest of form, but they're getting victories. For me, I think a draw could be on the cards in this one. I really do. I do think Luton can get something out of it. If I had to lean any which way, I would go the draw and Man United, but that's sitting on the fence, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Another side, which we spoke about at length, maybe beginning of the season, first half of the season, not quite so much after December, but they were impressive last season. That's Newcastle United. Looking to get it together, but it's been tough for them, and it may still be tough against the Bournemouth side that's looking for points. Yeah?
But you know what, Newcastle got those players coming back from injury, and that's the big thing. He didn't go into the transfer market, which is strange for me. Getting those players back has helped, and I do feel coming up against the Bournemouth side was struggling. They really are struggling. I think Newcastle will get the victory here. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be an easy game. I do think they'll get the victory. So for me, Newcastle, just to try and keep that pressure up on the top 7 so they can be in that position to play in Europe. They've tasted Europe. They want to be back there. I think they'll get a result.
Talking top 7, can't ignore Tottenham Hotspur up against Wolves. They're at home, Tottenham. There's points where they look so good, look so impressive going forward defensively and as a unit. Then there's times when it seems to fall apart. What do you make of this game against Wolves?
Well, Son is back for them. I mean, he came on last week and changed the game for them. So that's a big cog in their wheels. So for them, that's it's a big plus. You come up against a Wolves side, unpredictable. 1 week they're brilliant, the next week they're terrible. I do feel that this game, again, I think will end up in a draw. Spurs, unfortunately, not getting the full points, so I draw on the cards for this one.
Well, the beauty of it all, the one word we've used quite a bit in as far as this Premier League is concerned, along with Shane over the weeks, is unpredictable. It's nice to see that the race right at the top has remained unpredictable, and there's so many that are still in the running and down at the bottom as well. So let's just stay tuned on to the Premier League and see how things pan out as we roll straight into the business end of this season. Stay with Game 1. We come back and we have Jerry Skosana talking about all things Bafana Bafana and the local league, the PSL, that is coming back.